One Piece has dinosaurs now, apparently. Why not? I'm so happy. Hi, and welcome back to another video about One Piece. Today I am talking about the latest trailer, and I finally found the time to sit down and record my thoughts. But before that, quick mandatory summary about me. I've seen the first season of the show, then I've read the first 95 chapters of the manga, which is only the content that was already covered in season 1, so that I could go into season 2 blindly. I also have to ask to not leave any spoilers in the comments. If I make a theory or pose a question, I do not want an answer unless I explicitly say so. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. First of all, that was such a well put together trailer. I feel so hyped about season 2, and the best part is that this trailer mostly focused on the vibes instead of giving away too many specific plot points, so I really appreciate that. I feel like nowadays, too many trailers just give away too much of the plot. Another general thing is the music. It took me a bit by surprise when I heard the song Come Sail Away by Styx, and the main reason for that is because currently I'm watching another show, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and around half a year ago they also released a trailer, also for their season 2, and they also used this exact same song in that trailer. So I find it a bit funny that this same song was used in a trailer for a show that I watched twice in less than a year. And while I'm still on the topic of music, all main trailers for season 2 of One Piece used rock music, and I really hope that they also use it in the actual show. Because in season 1, all characters or character groups had their own unique sound assigned to them. For example, Arlong and the other fishmen had trap-like music, or Mihawk had flamenco, or Zora's theme sounded more traditional and even exotic to the Western ear. So I'm assuming this exact same thing will continue into season 2. And that Baroque works might be assigned electric guitars as their main instrument, which is really exciting to me because while I may not look like it, I'm actually a big fan of rock and metal music. Continuing with the more general things, I also loved how the world already feels so much bigger compared to season 1. I just feel so excited to know that I have so much story and so much world yet to experience, be it through the live action or the manga. Also, every single frame in this trailer looked insanely good. I know that people like to complain how long it takes to make a new season of any show nowadays, but honestly, if each season of One Piece looks this good, then I would gladly take a few good seasons over rushing things just to make 10 seasons or something. I think everyone understands that the live action won't adapt the entire story regardless, so why not focus on making the story that we do get look great? But that's all I have for the more general things, so now let's get into specific scenes in the trailer. First, I tried to piece together a timeline of this season. If you're curious, I mostly looked at what our characters are wearing and when they have their outfit changes. I obviously didn't do it for each scene we see in the trailer. I'm not that crazy yet. But I thought it would be fun to map out a rough timeline of the main events. So first, I think we visit the place where Gold Rogers was executed. Also, I have no idea how I missed it in all the previous trailers, but this is that platform where he died, and Luffy is tipping his hat in respect to that. But for some reason, I didn't connect the dots until this final trailer. I'm also assuming that it's in this town where we have a rematch against Buggy and Alvida. I don't think these two will follow us into the Grand Line. I feel like they are East Blue opponents, and for the moment, I think we are done with East Blue. I also think this is the place where we face off against that guy with 2 cigars, because behind him we can see a statue and it looks like the same statue we saw in one of the earlier teasers in Loketown. Next, in my opinion, should be the entrance to the Grand Line, where the water flows upwards and also being swallowed by that giant whale. From previous teasers, I thought that we would have to fight this whale, but in this trailer we see that the Straw Hats painted their flag on it, so now I believe it's a friendly whale. After that, I think the first island we go to is the one with desert-like environment and pinkish houses. I guess this might be on that giant cactus island, but I'm not sure. We saw that place in the trailers a lot, and I feel like trailers usually show the most from early in the season and the least from the second half. This is also the place with the bakery and the bar, and in both places we see that fancy guy who I think is also from Baroque Works. But in both places he's just talking and not fighting, so it's either a deception or he might be friendlier than I assumed based on the previous teasers. Another argument I have why this should happen earlier in the season is because we see Zoro make a comment about his new sword, and I believe he will replace his swords early in the season, maybe even before entering the Grand Line. The middle of the season is where I struggled the most with trying to place scenes in order. I think that those middle episodes should have the dinosaurs, those 2 giants and that giant shrimp, and also whatever the hell this thing is. I think that either one of the last episodes, or maybe even the season finale, will happen in that snowy place, and this also seems to be the place that introduces Chopper. At this point, it's pretty much confirmed that Chopper is joining the Straw Hats, but the trailer doesn't show him anywhere except that one same place. So unless it's a purposeful misdirection, then I think Chopper's introduction happens in the second half of the season. And that's the best I can do with trying to piece together the timeline. Next, I want to discuss some other details and thoughts I had about the characters. First of all, the blue-haired girl continues to intrigue me. She's presented like she's from Baroque Works, but the trailer constantly shows her with the Straw Hats. And on top of that, we see her in pretty much every location that the trailer reveals. So my current theory is that she's the newest member of the Straw Hats, maybe even someone who deserted Baroque Works. I think it would be really cool to have an enemy who later joins our crew. Next is Chopper. I made this meme after seeing his very first introduction video, and after this trailer, I feel even more strongly about him. Like, I'm adopting him. He's mine. That's it. I also feel like Luffy's reaction to Chopper was very appropriate. I, too, feel a lot of cuteness aggression towards the little guy. He is also, apparently, an actual baby reindeer who can gallop on all four. I don't know why, but out of all the things, this one seems the weirdest to me. Another detail that I loved was that the extra arms that the body horror lady can create turn into soft pink petals. That's such a cool contrast and aesthetic when you have something so soft and so gentle associated with an assassin. In this scene, we also see a Marine who I'm pretty sure is the same Marine that Nami stole the uniform from in Season 1. I might be wrong because, fun fact about me, I actually have a mild case of facial blindness, so sometimes I struggle with telling apart faces if they have somewhat similar features, but I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. I'm also very curious about this scene and who is Luffy carrying. Just in general, based on the trailer alone, the stuff that happens in that snowy place at the moment seems the most intriguing to me. Another thing that really stood out to me was the shot of Sanji crying. It got me emotionally, and that's just the trailer. I think that whatever the context is in this specific scene, I think it might become one of my favorite moments from Season 2, and I'm making guesses on nothing but pure vibes, but the vibes seem really strong in this shot. Lastly, the trailers reveal a few new characters. We have someone who looks like a pretty chill ordinary man, we have someone who looks insanely cool, and I appreciate the fire reflections in the glasses, and we have someone who looks like a mix between Captain Morgan and Don Krieg, the Northern Edition. And that's all I have. Well, maybe not all, but I know that I will talk more and mention some other things when the actual show comes out. Honestly, when a couple of people commented that the new trailer is out and that I should talk about it, at first I was worried that I wouldn't have much to say. I mean, it's 3 minutes of good vibes and a nice song. But here I am, yapping for however long this video will turn out. And I didn't even do a frame-by-frame breakdown, and I tried to be concise. But anyway, that's enough from me. I'm currently working on a final One Piece video that I want to release before Season 2, and I can already tell that it's going to be a long one. I will try to make it less than an hour, but I make no promises. In that video, I plan to do a final general comparison of the East Blue Saga in the manga and in the live action, talk about the characterizations of the Straw Hats, try to sort out the changes the live action made into good and bad changes. Then I also have a list of fun details that I noticed specifically on my rewatch of Season 1 that I want to share. I also want to briefly touch upon a couple of behind-the-scenes videos that I've seen and talk about a few other general things. Also, if you have your own suggestions or questions, then you can leave them in the comments and I will try to answer them in that video. But for now, thank you for listening and I'll see you next time.